Final touches on the 67 Triumph GT6. Our fuel sending unit, I suspect, is not working because I filled this thing up, more than half a tank, and it was still showing less than a quarter. Well, that's because the float's submerged and it's not moving whatsoever. So this thing's seized up pretty bad. So I'm gonna have to take this apart, blow it out, clean it up with some WD-40, and hopefully it comes back to life. So this sucker's all crimped together, so we can't really take it apart, it looks like. But we can spray it and see if it'll start moving. Although the cover here does look like it has two tabs. So maybe, well, let's try it. I don't want to break anything. Let's try undoing those tabs and see what's inside. So the WD-40 is working its magic. This is moving. And the little cover, if you undo the tabs, hopefully it'll slip off here gently. Nice. Okay. Let's put an ohmmeter on it and measure the resistance as that slider goes across the windings. Hopefully it's continuous, and our fuel gauge will come back to life. Alright, so this thing seems to be mostly functional. It's about 270 ohms full lock this way, and then as we come up, there are some spots that don't make continuity. There's good 70 ohms all the way up. .43 ohms. So needs a little exercise, but there we go, 18 ohms. So I sprayed the slider with deoxit just to see if it would be more stable, and sure enough it is. So if I squeeze it together here, .60 ohms, 260. I'm not losing continuity anywhere at all. So let's pop it back in the tank. Here, I'll demonstrate that. 260, about 30. Excellent. Fuel gauge seems to be doing what it should. It's gone past half a tank. So that's about right. Happy with that. So these new air cleaners are meant to go in the original OEM air cleaner box, which is like this big assembly with two lids. So that's not quite going to work with these aftermarket adapters that are meant to house foam oval shaped cleaners. Here's the what was left of it, the foam disintegrated like that. So I'll try to find the foam inserts and maybe return these round filters, but I think we can run it now and give it a rinse, and we'll be basically done. Alright, we got the Triumph rinsed off. Let's take it for a little spin around the block. We are cruising in the Triumph. The windshield's actually clean for once. The only annoying thing is that little rattle from the oval tires, but overall it's ready. So the owner might drive it around for a while, she might sell it. What are your thoughts, Diane? Are you happy that the Triumph is back?
Absolutely.
Back in business?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet it feels good. Yeah. Yep, so I'm excited too. So maybe we'll take this car in a little little cruiser on the block, but it's just so satisfying to get these old cars back on the road and kind of give them a second life. So that's it for the Triumph. Hope you enjoyed that series, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. So it's been about a month since we got this Triumph back on the road, and the owner had it detailed, so now inside it looks mint. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Where are we going? I'm following my neighbor. He has a 1967 Triumph, or not Triumph, Austin Healey 3000, I think a GT 3000. So I've worked on that car before. I'll leave a link to that video. But we're going to the local Thursday night car show, and yeah, just want to show off our vintage British Roadsters. This is pretty cool. Now I'm going to take a overview. That's neat.
Dr. Likens was in the Ford. He had a really sweet oak ranchero. His wife drove around in, and Harry had this.
Oh, a little more bonus footage on the Triumph. So after the car show, I pulled it in here, and I noticed the right headlight was out completely. Low beam, high beam, nothing worked on the right side. So I got a couple spare sealed beam units. So these are the headlights. They're supposed to be double filament. It says sealed beam. This one's installed upside down, and this one looks like it's original Lucas, and it's kind of cloudy inside. So maybe that sealed beam lost its seal. So let's see what happens here. So this is low beam with the stock all the way down. You can see this light is a little dim, the high beam indicator. If I put it to the middle, see, it gets brighter, and that gets slightly brighter. So it's something is up here. It's not turning on the other filament, it's just putting a little more voltage on that circuit. So that's wrong. The right headlight's out. So let's get those headlights off and just measure the voltage at the connectors. Make sure we have a good ground, and make sure that the low and the high beam circuits work as intended, and we'll see if the headlight's burnt out. Alright, let's start with the one that's burnt out, or suspected burnt out. So instructions say to pop off this ring first, and then there's 3 screws holding the headlight assembly in place. And they say just gently pry it off. Kind of like that, I guess. Okay. Not too hard. And then we have 1, 2, 3 screws holding the sealed beam in place, and then these are the adjuster screws 1 and 2 for the aiming. So let me undo these, and we'll pop this thing out of here. Alright, so got the headlight hanging out here. We have 3 wires, and what do we notice? So apparently this is the ground, and then the blue and white and the blue and orange are high and low beam. I have to look at the wiring diagram, which one's which. So the brand new one, actually bench tested it to figure out which terminal was ground, which one is high beam, which one is low beam. So I even wrote down the actual resistances. So there's 4 ohms between these, 5 ohms between these, and 3 ohms between these right here. So if you're measuring the highest resistance, that means you're going through both filaments. So these ones must be, you know, high beam because it has 3 ohms to ground. This one is low beam, it has 4 ohms to ground. So this one's connected wrong, for sure. Could that explain our weird voltage drop? It could. Let's undo the other one too, see how that one's hooked up, and then figure out how to do this correctly. Okay, well this one definitely was mounted upside down. You see the center pin is on the low, not over here. And this connector has been replaced, and these wires have been crimped. So again, it looks like ground is going to the center terminal, which is wrong, and then blue and white and red and blue. So let me get the wiring diagram, make sure we're not crossed up here. So on the diagram, it very clearly shows that the blue and white, this UW, is for the high beam. There's a high beam indicator, and then there's the flash. That's all tied together. Low beam is the blue and red, these two right here. So I'm going to unhook both of these. We can plug in this one correctly into the slot and see if the low and the high beam works as intended. Then we'll be sure that we're connecting these properly. Okay, brand new headlight assembly installed, and I connected the pins like I had them labeled. And let's disconnect this one completely so it's not messing with our testing. I'm going to have to rewire that. Now let's try it out. Okay, headlights on. Yes, that's low beam, and our main beam indicator is off. That's high. Low, high. Both filaments work and the beam actually changes. Fantastic. Let's install the other one, wire it the same way, and should be all set. So this connector is wired completely wrong, so we need to remove all 3 pins. You just stick a dental tool in there and they pop right out, so that's awesome. And now we want to orient the connector like this: high, low, and ground. So let me do that. So it's going to go like this. So this pin's going to be our ground. So that's going to be right here, I think. Or the other way. There we go. Clips right in. Perfect. That's our ground. Then our low beam is the center one. And this is our low beam. So that's going to go like this. Perfect. And this is our high beam. It's going to go right in here. I think I'm correct. Now let's plug the headlight into here. And attach it and make sure it works properly. Alright, final test. Low beam, high beam. Sweet. High beam, low beam. No more crossed wires. Awesome bright headlights. That's a win. Amazing.